A beggar lived at a railway station in a city. He survived by begging from passengers traveling on the trains. One day while begging, he noticed a tall man dressed in a suit. He thought, "This man looks very rich. If I ask him for alms, he will surely give me good money." So he approached the tall man and started begging. Seeing the beggar, the tall man asked, "You are always asking, but do you ever give anything to anyone?" The beggar replied, "Sir, I am just a beggar. I always ask people for help. How can I have anything to give to anyone?" The tall man said, "If you cannot give anything to anyone, then you have no right to ask either. I am a businessman, and I believe in transactions. If you have something to offer me, only then can I give you something in return." Saying this, the tall man boarded the train and left. The beggar kept thinking about his words. The tall man's statement struck deep in his heart. He wondered, "Maybe I don't receive much alms because I give nothing in return. But I am just a beggar. What do I have to offer?" For 2 days he struggled with this thought but found no answer. On the third day, while sitting near the station, he noticed some flowers blooming on the nearby plants. He thought, "Why don't I give flowers to people in return for alms?" He liked the idea and picked a few flowers. Now, when he went to beg on the train, every time someone gave him alms, he handed them a flower in return. People happily accepted the flowers and kept them. Day by day, more people started giving him alms. He began collecting flowers daily and giving them to those who gave him money. However, once he ran out of flowers, people stopped giving him alms. This continued for a while. One day while begging, he saw the same tall man sitting on the train, the man who had inspired him to give flowers in exchange for alms. The beggar quickly approached him and said, "Today I have something to give you. If you give me alms, I will give you flowers in return." The tall man gave him some money, and the beggar handed him a few flowers. The tall man smiled and said, "Wow, look at you. You have become a businessman just like me." Saying this, he took the flowers and got off at his station. Once again, the tall man's words resonated in the beggar's heart. He kept thinking about them and felt happy. His eyes sparkled with realization. He had finally found the key to success, one that could change his life. He stepped off the train, looked up at the sky, and shouted excitedly, "I am not a beggar. I am a businessman. I can become rich too." People around him thought he had gone mad. From the next day, he was never seen begging at that railway station again. 6 months later, at the same railway station, 2 well-dressed men in suits were traveling. They looked at each other, and one of them extended his hand for a handshake. "Do you recognize me?" he asked. The second man replied, "No, I don't think we've met before." The first man smiled and said, "Think again. This is not our first meeting. This is our third." The second man looked confused. "I don't remember. When did we meet before?" The first man smiled and said, "We met twice before, right here on this train. I am the same beggar you once told what I should do with my life. And the second time, you told me who I really was." The second man was astonished. "Oh, I remember now. You are the beggar I once refused to give alms to. The second time, I bought flowers from you. But where are you going today in this fancy suit? What are you doing now?" The first man said, "Yes, I was that beggar. But today, I am a big flower businessman. I am traveling to another city for my business." After a pause, he continued, "During our first meeting, you taught me a fundamental law of nature, that we only receive when we give. The principle of give and take truly works. I have experienced it firsthand. But I always saw myself as a beggar. I never thought beyond that. Then during our second meeting, you made me realize that I had already become a businessman. That changed my perspective. I finally understood why people were giving me so much money, not out of pity, but because they were paying for my flowers. People saw me as a small businessman, but in my own eyes, I was still a beggar. Your words made me realize that I was already a trader. I used the money I earned from selling flowers to buy even more flowers, and soon I became a full-fledged flower trader. The people here love flowers, and their love for them has made me a successful businessman today." The 2 men smiled, shook hands, and walked off the station, discussing their businesses. Morale of the story. This story teaches us many valuable lessons. The tall businessman understood the rule of give and take, a principle that all successful entrepreneurs follow. When the beggar embraced this natural law, it transformed his life. He changed his mindset, and his entire world changed with it. The story shows us that if we change our way of thinking, we can achieve anything. If we see ourselves as small, we will always remain small. To grow, we must think big and believe in ourselves. Success lies in your mindset. Believe in yourself, think big, and watch how you rise to the top.